Hello and welcome to my Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Ed Cardinal, and we're coming live to you from our niece Jasmine's childhood room. As you can see, little fish on the wall. And the topic for this evening is the power of yoga and the transformative power of yoga. And as our yoga instructor Aadil Palkhivala has said, the yoga is not about the shape of your body, but the shape of your life. So it's much more than a physical practice. And I thought no better person to discuss this than my wife, Jude Montesserrato, who is a Purna yoga instructor at the 2,000 hour level. And she's going to give you 3 ways that yoga helped her through a very challenging time in her life and continues to help her to this day and will for the rest of her life. She's going to give you three ways that it helped her transform after a tragic event. So without any further ado, my wife, Jude Montesserrato.
Thank you, Ed. Hi. So, share a little bit about my story. It was tragic. I was with John for 15 years, and September 11th, 2001 happened. And he worked in the World Trade Center. I worked across the street as well. And we all know what happened on September 11th. I don't need to go into those details, though it made me go into this very depressed, unstable, uncertainty part of my life. And there's a lot to this story, but I'm going to fast forward about a year and a half after swimming around in the trauma, the sadness, the anxiety, the no sleeping, not eating. So a year and a half later, when I started to do something about what was happening, made a decision, I should say, to do something, the thought of yoga popped into my head. And I thought, ugh, how is that going to help me at this time when all I thought about yoga was you sit in a room and you're home. Previously, before John's death, I went to one yoga class with him. And it was okay. But being a New Yorker, working in the city, I was very active. I wanted to work out, and yoga was the furthest thing from my mind. However, I listened. I'm going to say at this point, I feel it was my soul guiding me, my spirit, my heart. And I looked at the gym I belonged to and found a yoga class and found a phenomenal teacher. Though when I went into class, I was dressed in dark colors, very dark colors, the hood over my head, and I sat in the corner. The teacher didn't bother me, and I didn't know the poses or anything about it. However, that first time I was on my mat, trying to do downward facing dog, even just sitting, it was a challenge. However, what I did notice was it brought me to the present moment. So that story that I kept repeating in my head that caused the sadness, I didn't have time for that. And I got hooked. I got drawn in to practicing yoga. And I went as much as possible. And it was not easy. So the first thing I realized that helped with transformation in my life was awareness. awareness of the story and the words I was speaking to myself. As Ed mentioned, this is a process. This did not happen after one class or 5 classes. And then with that awareness, I also became connected with the feeling of how much grief I was holding in my body, how much my heart closed from his death. If you do practice yoga, there's back bends. Back bends was the worst thing that I ever wanted to do because it's opening the heart, and I just wanted to stay closed and keep that armor around my heart protected. So I realized that, and the more I did it, I started opening. And when I would get in my car after practicing, the tears would flow. And thankfully, I'm a phenomenal teacher, and as time went on and he realized my story, we started talking, and I realized what was happening. So it's important to know that our emotions are held in our body. And third was learning about me, my soul. As Ed said, I'm a Prana yoga instructor. Of course, I study with Savitri and Aadil Palkhivala. And with those tools, I began going deeper and deeper and learning about me and my soul and looking at childhood and life and the trauma I went through and using those tools to help me learn about myself and become who I am today and continue to use these tools. So those are 3 ways yoga transformed me and continues. Awareness, the emotions held in the body, which I never even thought of. As much as I worked out, I never thought of it. It was all about being physically fit. And third was connecting with my soul, myself, my heart, and letting that really shine.
Well, now you know why I asked Jude to share her story about yoga, much more powerful than any story I can tell. So grateful that she could share that and had the courage to do so. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like below and comment. And if you ever want to talk more about this with Jude, I will also post her contact information. All of us at some point in our life have had to deal with some sort of a challenge, emotional challenge. So it's important to, maybe if you want to, use yoga as a tool to help you deal with that. So many blessings to you. Have a great evening, great week, and talk to you next week, Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my next Facebook Live. Take care. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ed.
Welcome.